Today we're looking at NAPA oil filter, specifically their silver, gold, and platinum filter. Before we get right into it, let me just go over some stats and some numbers that we're looking at here. And every filter here is made for the same vehicle, so we're not mixing and matching different filters. So right off the bat, in terms of pricing, the silver is on average $5, your gold is $8, platinum is $12. Now, why is there such a large disparity in terms of pricing? It comes down to what you're getting. It's like anything else. So this is just a coil spring that sits inside the can. Okay, just keeps everything nicely compacted. And what you tend to find is either a coil spring or a stamped piece of steel. Every manufacturer is different. So what do we have here? Well, right off the bat, you may notice that the platinum and the silver has a different end cap in terms of the top here. The gold does not have this device, and this is a spring that you can push down on. This is a bypass valve. Now what that means is, if for any reason, if this filter is just completely clogged and it has problems or it now has trouble getting engine oil to the engine, this little valve opens up. Okay, every filter has a bypass valve. I believe it's mandated by every manufacturer, vehicle manufacturer out there. Now with the gold, sort of interesting, it's this device. First time I've ever seen anything like this regarding a bypass valve. Pretty cool. It's nice to see the different engineering that these companies do. So this is your bypass valve on the gold. Now the next thing is the type of media. In other words, the actual filter itself. On your lower costing filters, you tend to find cellulose, maybe a cellulose glass type of blend. And as you can see here with the silver, very nicely spaced. We'll find out shortly what the square inches is in terms of surface area. The gluing is very nice. Some filters you'll find a lot of overspray. This is very nicely constructed. Again, metal end caps. Some of other filters you may find like a cardboard type of end cap. This is just all metal, 100%. So that's a nice plus, and then you get to see your bypass valve up there. This component, which sits on the bottom, right here on all three filters, this is your anti-drain back valve. Now the anti-drain back valve, as you can see, is different regarding the silver, and then the gold and the platinum. They look to be identical. The silver is not only thinner, but the other thing is the material. This is rubber. These guys are silicone. Now rubber can get brittle. The other thing is rubber, in terms of temperature range, cannot perform as well as silicone. Now this, I'm not trying to degrade the silver filter by any means. On your cheaper oil filters, your Fram, Extra Guard for example, STP, in the blue can, the cheapest or the lowest costing, the lowest costing Purolator filter, those are all rubber anti-drain back valves. And then usually the middle, in terms of any filter manufacturer on your top end, is silicone. And this is not dirty by any means. This is just some pieces of steel from the cap when I was cutting open everything. But that's interesting to find as well whenever you open up these filters. Again, average lower costing rubber, your high costing is silicone. The whole point behind this device is when you turn off your vehicle, this will not allow all of the engine oil to drain back into the filter. So at least there's some engine oil left in the engine. So the next time you start the vehicle, you don't have a dry start. It's the whole point behind it. Again, I believe I imagine has to be mandated by every manufacturer out there in terms of a vehicle manufacturer. Now in terms of mileage, what do you get here? Well, silver, NAPA states 5,000 miles, and then gold and platinum just follow what your vehicle recommends in terms of how often you have to change the oil. So if you have a late model car that says every 10,000 miles, don't use the silver, unless you want to change your oil every 5,000 miles. Go with the gold or the platinum. Now the other thing is, regarding the type of oil to use, really your best bet with this is conventional. Now you could run synthetic, but why would you, in a sense? Why would you pay more money for synthetic, which is designed and engineered to last longer? This is really for your conventional motor oil. Your gold is really made for a blend. This is really made for full synthetic. Now these lower costing oil filters, they're perfectly fine. They really are. Many years ago, I had a was a 92 Z28. I think I had that car for 230,000 miles or so, and I religiously changed that oil every 3,000 miles or 3 months. It was always changed, and it was always black. But I always changed the motor oil, and this is way before I even started opening up these filters and just really learning the components of inside the filters, and I never had a problem. But it's just, don't forget, it's the lifeblood of your vehicle, the motor oil. Some other things to talk about is with the platinum, this can hold 100% more dirt than the gold. So that's the whole point with your synthetic media. Not only could it hold more dirt, but usually on average it holds smaller microns. Now when I say microns, every oil filter has a micron rating. Now I always get questions about micron ratings if I don't mention it in that specific video, and that's because sometimes they're just impossible to dig up. Now you could contact the company and maybe get somewhere regarding that. The only thing I was able to dig up among these three is the gold filter is rated at 19 microns, so 1919. So that's a very, very good rating. Just to give you an idea, the average width of a human hair is 40 microns. And in terms of, just to give you another measurement, a micron is 0.001 millimeters. So if this is a 19 micron rating, that's 0.019 millimeters. That's how small these particles are. So I would have to imagine if the gold is 19, the platinum has to be at least 19, if not a little bit better. The silver, my guess, maybe 25, something like that. Nevertheless, all of these filters, really these modern filters, do a very, very good job of filtration. Now, the other thing with the platinum is this is wire backed. Now, not every filter, even your very expensive filters, not every one is wire backed. Wix XP is wire backed, AmSoil, Royal Purple, to name a few, are wire backed. Now, wire backing, you'll see that when I cut open the filter, and you actually can sort of see it now. But wire backing, what that does is it helps with the collapse rating. Now, what I mean by that is, think about your furnace filter for your house. On the higher costing ones, they tend to have a wire back, and that's so the filter doesn't move in toward the blow motor as it gets older or as it ages. Same philosophy or same idea with this filter. It keeps the conformity of the filter for whatever the reason. If it starts to really degrade and it's just nasty, you can even do a Google search in terms of collapsed oil filters, and you'll see pictures of them just completely collapse. And that's the whole point with the wire backing. It helps prevent that. So that's what you're paying for the $12 on the platinum. You get the silicone anti-drain back valve, you get the wire backing, you get the full synthetic media. So that's what you're paying. Also, the can seems to be a little bit thicker. It's not the thickest one that we've come across. I have to say, right off the top of my head, Pure Leader Boss, which was a really nice filter as well. That cap was really, really thick. I think K&N also had a pretty thick rating. I'm going to get a little gauge so we can, eventually I'll start to measure all these, and I'll put that in the description box. But so that's what you're paying with your platinum. And so if you're running full synthetic, you want to, let's say, go 15,000 miles because your vehicle states you can go that long, platinum is a good choice to go. The other thing is, a lot of times you can get really good deals in terms of, I think you know exactly what I mean, AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts, or wherever you're purchasing the oil. A lot of times they'll have a good deal if you purchase a certain oil with this filter. So, you know, the $12 could even be less because you're bundling it with synthetic motor oil that's on sale. So that being said, let's cut open the filters. We'll take a measurement in terms of square inches. Also, very quickly, this is one thing I didn't get a chance to look at yet. I want to take a look at the base plate. And let me not get these confused. Okay. Okay, let's see. The inlet hole's a little bit thicker in the gold. As you can see, the diameter, in other words, a little bit thicker on the gold. And comparing that to the silver, let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, these two caps seem to be identical. Okay, let's cut this open and see what we have here. So now we have everything laid out on the bench, and immediately you'll notice this wire backing. Certainly a nice feature to have. You're paying a little bit extra in the platinum for that. Regarding the surface area, approximately 87 square inches, 77 square inches, and 65 square inches on the platinum. Now don't let that lower number deter you, because again, because synthetic media is a superior material compared to cellulose, this captures more dirt. Don't forget, 100% more dirt in the synthetic comparing to the gold. So even though it's a different media altogether. So this is just comparing with other filters that we've done. So that being said, thank you for watching. Also, let me just quickly show you the reason why these numbers are approximate is because I can't get the media completely out. This is a pretty good idea in terms of what to expect, but that being said, that's what we're coming back here. If you're interested in any other oil filter videos, I'll include a playlist in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.